It was a wonderful day for the pads to come on in the Bengals. Well, the defense handled business sexy Dexy style in their first padded practice of training camp. That plus Andrew Fox Miller in his firsthand breakdown of all things Monday training camp. We'll dive into that right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com, and let's dive into it right now because boy, oh boy, is it always good to see the pads come on. And Dexter Lawrence looked a little in his pads at Bengals practice, and obviously I say that tongue-in-cheek because this Bengals defense, well, they handled business. They were really, really good on Monday, and I'll say this as a disclaimer. They should be. The Bengals defense should be winning on the first Monday of training camp. On the first padded practice, you want to see defenses win early. That is a very, very normal thing. That being said, Joe Burrow going 8 for 17 in 11 on 11 drills, I'm not sure anyone had that. And I think that's what's really, really fun about this is Dexter Lawrence made his presence felt. Boye Mafe made his presence felt on Monday. You noticed multiple defensive linemen, and they made Joe uncomfortable is the word because they pushed the pocket. There were multiple sacks that were blown dead. I think the other thing here is the Bengals offense clearly working through some things under center wise. And Andrew Fox Miller was there. We're going to get his firsthand account of what happened on Monday. But as he's at Andrew Fox Miller on X, as he's posting clips and I'm looking at his clips and all these other clips that are out there, I'm like, man, under center, and a lot of them aren't working. And if you remember a few years ago, Jake Browning yelling, "No more bleeping nakeds" to Zach Taylor when he was starting for Joe Burrow in 2023, well, that's how it felt in this practice. The naked bootlegs weren't working, and some of the play action stuff wasn't working. The offense did have a nice under center touchdown run on the goal line with Samaje Perine. There were plays that were there. Joe Burrow found Mike Gesicki over the middle for a nice gain. It's a really nice route from Mike Gesicki. But the defense, I noticed Barrett Carter multiple times. I noticed Demetrius Knight multiple times. I mentioned the defensive front. Noticed them. Takario Davis and Colby Young went at it a bit. Davis had a nice pass breakup. Colby Young made a really, really nice catch deep downfield from Joe Flacco. So there was a lot today. I think the defense won the day. But overall, well, it's time to get to Andrew Fox Miller and everything that he has to say. And I'll chime in a bit more, but I want to bring Andrew in, and we will do that coming up next. But first, a word from Christian Husky, because Christian Husky is a giant Bengals fan like you. And like you, well, he's going to help you find your forever home. And whether it's location, whether it's space, whether it's whatever you're looking for, maybe you're looking for land. Christian Husky is going to help you do exactly that. Maybe you're looking to downsize and find that perfect condo that's maintenance free. Doesn't matter. He's got you covered at Christian Husky. All you have to do is go to SipsyKlein.com/CHusky. That's SipsyKlein.com/CHusky today. Tell him that Cincinnati Bengals Talk sent you. And we'll get to Andrew in just a second. But first, a word from our friends at Joe Morgan Honda.
The Honda Summer Event is going on now at Joe Morgan Honda in Monroe. Stop in today and check out the great lease and finance specials going on now on all new CRVs, Civics, Accords, Pilots, and Ridgelines. All priced and ready to go. Honda quality and Morgan integrity. Proud to be part of the Voss Auto Network. Joe Morgan Honda. Stop by in person on State Route 63 off I-75 in Monroe or online at joemorganhonda.com.
All right, let's keep it rolling here. And Andrew, I think the defense dominated. I was surprised when I saw an offensive player make a play, which is rare for this Bengals team, is rare in training camp. Even this early, the defense has not dominated the way they dominated today, at least from my vantage point. What did you see at the practice fields across from Paycor Stadium?
Yeah, I saw a defensive front that was disruptive, that was putting all sorts of pressure on Joe Burrow. You mentioned him going under center a lot. That is absolutely the case, of course. I couldn't help but wonder when seeing it, though, and this is speculation on my part, maybe you have a take on this. You know, obviously it's training camp. Obviously it's practice. You're trying things out. You're experimenting, no doubt. To what degree, though, is this an experimentation of we need to take our lumps as we work through the kinks of this thing, right? We're going to be going under center more. We're going to be taking our existing playbook and we're going to be tweaking things, changing things. That's naturally going to happen. And we saw, I think, a lot of that today. Very similar formations, similar sort of play action, guys in motion, things that we've seen time and time again, but just with little tiny adjustments. And at what point do you look at it and go, those little adjustments are just falling apart with this defense? Or do you look at it and say, this is exactly what we need, because now we can go back and adjust things and be all the better for it as we head into the regular season, because this is an offense that we talked about continuity, running it back. They know that. So how can we take what we already have, not only improve it, but make it different enough to where other teams aren't going to see it coming when we actually really open up that playbook?
Yeah, it's an interesting point, because they've stunk at the under center stuff. And a lot of people blame Joe Burrow. And I was asked about this a few hours ago when the plays were unfolding and you're tweeting plays and all those. I think Joe gets blamed for that, but do you really doubt that Joe Burrow can figure any of this stuff out? And maybe this is a topic for End of the Jungle, because like we could expand upon this a bunch. Spoiler, I highly doubt that Joe Burrow is incapable of playing under center.
Right.
I think he's capable of it. I'm sure he did it plenty in his football life before that 2019 season at LSU. Is he as good at it as he is in shotgun? Well, no, that's fine. His superpower is reading the defense. I get that. I still think he can play under center. I think he can do the play action stuff. Do we know Zach Taylor and Dan Pitcher, if their offense is capable of that? I'll throw Brian Callahan in there as well, because he's part of this offense from a fabric standpoint. I don't. And I think that's what's interesting, is like we haven't seen it. So who am I going to doubt first, Zach and Dan or Joe? Well, it's going to be the coaches. And so I think they need to figure it out. And so whatever it is, the under center stuff has not worked. And it hasn't been just today, but now that the pads are on, it is today. And the thing that I noticed in your clips, how often was it when Joe has the pass fake or the run fake and he's rolling out and it's that naked bootleg, that he just have to ground it into the ground? Because you threw a couple of them up on social, but I'm sure there were more.
Oh,
and that's rough. Those are the worst, especially in training camp. Obviously, it's awful when the regular season starts and all those things. But when you're like, all right, here we go. It's 11s and Joe and Jamar back on the field. Oh, it's a rollout. And he's got to throw it into the dirt. Those are rough.
Yeah, and there was a lot of that. And you're right. There are plenty of clips I just didn't even have time to put up. So this will be somewhat of an exclusive. I'll just roll some of these as B-roll, because I didn't get to share all of these on X, on social media. I think, looking at the silver lining into this, right? Two things. One, defense looks great. Now, I'm not saying they're there. I'm not saying this is the product that we're going to see on the field in regular season, and certainly, who knows about preseason. But the defense is coming with a fire under them, right? Like, this is Jordan Battle, multiple plays today, just screaming to the skies in victory whenever he'd break up a pass or disrupt a play entirely. So I saw it across the board on this defense, and I love to see that. That's one positive. And then two, as a spectator, as anyone that's going to go to training camp, or as anyone that isn't and is just going to be seeing these clips unfold and then eventually see some of this maybe go into action in preseason, this is an opportunity to really keep an eye out on something. This is a storyline that you can really cling to. Is under center doesn't have to be seen as a negative in terms of, oh, this just isn't going to work. It's still early August. We're seeing it in progress, the work in progress. We're seeing it happen. The question is, are they going to continue to force it to their own detriment, or are they going to continue to improve, evolve? And I think that, for me at least, that's one of the more interesting things now to keep an eye on as the month of August rolls on.
Yeah, I agree. Is this going to be who they are? Do they default back? What I would say is, this offense needs to take a step. Everyone knows it. I've been very clear on this. It almost beating that drum as much as I can. Talk about the defense all you want. This offense needs to take a step forward. So however they can generate more explosive plays, big plays, be a dynamic offense, do it. And if it comes with August growing pains, we'll do it. It is worth it, to your point. And we saw it today because the defense dominated. Now, there were bright spots. right? There were bright spots for the offense, and there always are going to be on both sides. Like Colby Young had 3 catches in 11s. I mentioned the deep ball catch. Like that, it's great to see. I need to see that. I need to see more of that. I thought Mike Gesicki was good, but you mentioned Jordan Battle. He stood out.
Yep.
Dax Hill had a nice pass breakup.
He did.
And handled business there. He was in coverage on T on one as well in the end zone where T almost made an outstanding grab, didn't make it. Dax right there, pretty good, darn good coverage. DJ Turner had a nice pass breakup. One of the Jordan Battle plays that Battle's getting a lot of credit for in the end zone on T.
Barrett Carter.
It was a pass deflection by Barrett Carter. Yes.
Yep.
And the complete game changer, because that's a touchdown in 11s, I think, for Joe Burrow in this offense when they desperately needed it. And instead, Barrett Carter gets his hand up and makes a play. So, like, it was a collective effort. There were a bunch of different guys making plays for this defense.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think when I look back at sort of the comments on the offense, I think it's a question, too, of, hey, is this going to be growing pains? Because that's not a bad problem to have. Imagine if they're trying to change the offense to make up for some sort of deficiency. That's a different conversation. This is an offense that doesn't have a lot of major deficiencies. And they have an opportunity now to grow, and you're going to see these growing pains. That's how I choose to look at it. I don't know if that's the right take, but I think that in this early phase, that's the way to look at it. And you're right. This defense, there's a certain swagger and confidence to them. We saw it even just in the words and how they conducted themselves during OTAs, in locker room interviews, and talking with media. You're seeing it on the field. We'll see, of course, how it translates. There's just an energy. It's the best way to put it. You mentioned the Jordan Battle. Credit to Barrett Carter for that tip. Jordan Battle, that at the end of that play, you would have thought he had everything to do with that play. He was just that fired up about it. So I love to see that. And I think every player there is got some sort of attitude to him. And meanwhile, offense, maybe not as much, but again, because they're the ones that are like, we know who we are. Let's push the boundaries. And we're probably seeing a little bit of that stress from it.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, you know what I want to be stressful right now of the two? I want the offense to be like, man, why isn't it working?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard? Why is this? They're getting to Joe quicker than we want. I want Ted's Life and Dylan Fairchild and Dalton Reiser. I want those guys to be like, God, I can't believe I got to deal with Jonathan Allen and Dexter Lawrence. And then afterwards, the second and third units, like Landon Robinson made a nice play today alongside TJ Slayton. I think that one's interesting. Like, I want that. I want Takario Davis to make plays against Colby Young and hopefully get reps and move forward. You want to see that because what does it do? Like I mentioned Mike Gesicki, he made a play on Dax. Like, it's both sides. But you want that because we know the offense is going to figure it out. It's Joe Burrow. Like, I have a few tweets like, should we be worried about Joe? Like, no, it's Joe. But the thing that would worry me more than this would be if Joe's shredding the defense again, and then again, and then again, and then again. And it isn't that. Early in camp, the offense is still installing stuff. They're getting their timing down, their rhythm down, and really trying to get things going. Meanwhile, defenses, usually the good defenses, dominate early in camp. And so it is good to see that they have done just that in really today. I think they won Saturday, but I think today was by far their most dominant day. Pads come on. I
got to mention, I almost forgot. Do you know who's not feeling the stress right now? The guy was in the tent, the VIP tent. We didn't even address this. That's a clip I didn't have a chance to post on social. I mean, I made sure I just captured the ambiance. I knew you would appreciate it.
Yeah, look at you. You just hanging in the tent. Meanwhile, I've been at practice for however many years, and I've never gotten that tent access, man. Look at you. Look at you. Oh, I'm in tent life.
I met a lot of your colleagues, we'll call them. I talked to Paul Daner. I talked to Ben Baby. I talked to Jay. They're all just passing by as I'm in the tent waving.
Yeah. Sweating. They're sweating and you're in the shade.
I mean, I was sweating, but it was good access. I had access to whatever I needed for hydration.
In that tent, it is way different than, hey, here's your media cooler of water. I was going to say, is there anything else that stands out? Is there anything else we need to make sure that everybody knows from today's session that stood out to you while you're there?
You know, I didn't pay as much. I didn't come into the camp thinking as much about special teams. I don't know that it was talked about much by any of anyone on the beat or anything like that, but Evan McPherson, automatic. I don't know that he had a miss. Maybe he did. I didn't sit there and tally it all, but every single kick I saw was just money. So
I was going to get on you if you didn't mention Money Mac
there you go.
in the nickname. Yeah. Come on now.
By the way, the clip that's out there of Burrow, he's in, I think, shotgun, takes a step to the side, Chase Brown takes the snap. Burrow starts running like a receiver.
It was
interesting because while I was in that VIP tent, they were running some position drills. And then all of a sudden Burrow and the receivers go out there and he throws the ball to him a few times. They kind of staged that play in that moment prior to it actually happening during 11-on-11. So I'll put a side-by-side clip of there out there somewhere. But yeah, they were, calculating.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I don't want Joe running routes in games. I'm fun experimenting when no one could touch him. I'm fine with that.
They're experimenting. That would be the big takeaway, though, because defense had their day. That is the biggest thing. That's the headline. Offense certainly struggling, but the struggles are because they're, again, trying to push that limit, trying to experiment and enhance what's already a very, very potent offense.
And that's what's going to be interesting on Tuesday. And we're going to do a special live edition of End of the Jungle Tuesday afternoon. And it's very, very simple. Is the offense going to respond the way we expect them to? Because I expect them to. You get punched in the mouth at camp. Usually Joe was so good at this his rookie year during the COVID year. He'd have a really bad day of practice and he's just figuring it out and didn't have an off-season program. And then the next day he'd be awesome. And throughout his career, that's been the case. He's responded. The offense usually responds at bad day, usually responds with a good day. We'll see if they can do that, or does the defense just belly up, continue to dominate? I wouldn't be mad at that either. Because guess what? I'm not going to doubt Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase and company, but we're going to have you covered. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button right here on YouTube. Check us out wherever you get your podcast. And until tomorrow, for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.